This is meant for people that understand the language of music. This is not, I repeat, this is not for the shackled brain, not to sell or be sold, just enjoyed. You get more of your money when you fuck with Mr.
Peace. So we here now. It's BIMU Radio, y'all. It's all good. At the end of the day, we want to just bring this to you. It's episode 12, Black Intelligent Minds United. And we got a special guest today, and it's a lot going on, man. So I'm going to segue over now to my brother, Jerule.
Yeah, a lot been going on. I know, we had a serious situation in regards to the nation with the brother Allah Real passing away.
Yeah, man.
I know he was a real pivotal person in your growth and development.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say peace to his family, peace to anyone who's affected by by the loss of him. And like I was telling you, it's like he shares so much with so many people. He won't die because all of those lessons that he shares is going to be with us forever. So
yeah, this show right here, respectfully, is going to be dedicated to him and all those that we lost. Carolyn Baker, who was a mentor of mine at Warner Brothers Records, Iris Perkins, who was another mentor of mine at A&M Records when I used to work those labels, and of course my grandfather Allah Real, who was an affiliate of Wu-Tang, sang on their their joints and all that. And this is our finale for our season. We are episode 12, and the title of this episode is Why We Laugh. We have a special guest, a good brother of mine, fraternity brother as well, and we're going to bring him shortly. As we always do, we start with today's mathematics. Today's mathematics is knowledge, build or destroy, or being born or born. We know that knowledge is to know, or the foundation. We know that build mean to add on, destroy mean to take away, and to be born is bring something new to life. We're on the verge of the spring equinox, so we're going to bring a new life with a new beginning, with a new understanding, so that we can draw it up to our fullest equality. So without further ado, we always start with music, right? That's what y'all want to hear.
Foundation,
so we're going to start with the music, and we're going to pass it over to my brother Jerule to introduce the new two joints.
Yeah, the first joint is by Shamar Leaf, and it's called Sun, Moon, and Stars, and that's produced by Mosaic. And then the second joint will be by King Hippo, and it's called Knowledge.
BIMU Radio, y'all. We back. Peace.
What's up, Dad? What's up, Mom? I'm yours. Yo, son to father to son. Like father, like the fruit don't fall far from the trunk. I'm a father's son, a shell casing tucked in the chamber of mama's gun. Black. And I'm born for all the forefathers hung to bring death to your preconceived notions. I was conceived in between death and coercion. Divine purpose usurped the sleeping giant, climbed atop Mount Zion and climaxed. And I descended in 40 sapiens. 40. Then I ascended before he could grasp it. Climbing the tree of life was my rite of passage. Back handsprings on a dirty mattress. Somersaulting like snow in June. Each revolution, earth, sun, and moon. Star seeds, mind bending spoons. The fruit of 144,000 wounds. But it's hard to smile. Indigo child sing the blues. Cause son to father to son. Like father, like the fruit don't fall far from the trunk. I'm my father's son. A shell casing tucked in the chamber of mama's gun. Black. I'm out the womb on y'all. I'll forever be the elephant in the room on y'all. I'll never hold back another thought. My mind is in full bloom on y'all. Blowing minds with these talents that bring balance like Libras this. Beauty happens to be the ugly truth that brings silence. You didn't want to, you didn't want me, and it makes sense. They didn't want you, he didn't want you, and it makes sense. We could be rich off what we didn't want, and ain't nothing changed. Should I hate myself or from whence I came? Neither. Embrace it all and take back my name. Shamara left, give it to ya, ain't nothing left for Caesar. Middle finger and a headshot from my mother's womb. I'm out the tomb like father to son. Like father, like the fruit don't fall far from the trunk. I'm my father's son. A shell casing tucked in the chamber of mama's gun. Blah, blah, blah. My peers expect me to remain silent. I never been ultra-violent, but I'm ultraviolet. Introverted for the sake of suppressing a giant who lives in Zion. Truth be told, I was born defiant. I ain't lying. I hate liars. I hate liars. Look me in my eyes and tell me that you hate dying. Each day that you observe the corpse of your prior life, you destroyed everything you worked for your entire life. A fool's fool. May your name be blotted out from the future. This double-edged sword in your sores unable to suit you. Face your victims and exchange wounds. Take this shot from my mother's womb. I'm out the tomb like son to father, father to son. Like father, like the fruit don't fall far from the trunk. I'm my father's son. A shell casing tucked in the chamber of mama's gun. Blah. I'm yours.
Yeah, welcome back to BIMU Radio. So like I said before, we left. We got a special guest today.
Definitely.
You know, me and a man of many different walks of life.
Many talents.
Talents would be the word.
Many talents.
I know life, you got to have a relationship with him in terms of...
he's my fraternity brother, man.
Yes,
we met on the square.
Yes. So how did... Yes. So how
we did meet on the square. Big brother life.
So you guys didn't know each other prior
I
to
knew
that?
of him. I've seen him around, you know what I mean? DANNON Green is a world name that's known for making people laugh. You know what I mean? And you know what's so interesting about the brother is that he come from a similar background, you know what I mean? And then when I met him as a friend. You know what I mean? And I think those that understand our fraternity understand what that means. And maybe others too that may not be in a fraternity, but I met him as a friend and we got the chance to really get to know each other on another level. You know what I mean?
Most definitely, bro.
So without further ado, all praises due, we want to bring to BIMU Radio, man, DANNON Green.
Man, well, thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you, man.
Appreciate
it.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, man.
Like the studio hookup. The studio look good.
Yeah, the POTUS.
POTUS moving up in the world. Last time I came in, we couldn't even look at each other across it was so dark. I thought I was going into a little man cave. But it's all right now. I like you got lights, girl.
Man. So we wanted to bring you to this show, man, because this last show, this is our not final, but our season finale for the 12th show. And the reality is we named it While We Laugh.
Right.
Who better else that I could bring?
The best.
We could bring.
Right.
You know what I mean? Than the best.
The best.
DANNON Green.
Yes, and I have to claim that. DG.
Yeah.
Or as they call me on the East Coast, D Green.
Yeah, D Green.
Yeah. So I want to kind of jump right into comedy because I'm a big fan of comedy. I remember being a kid watching, Eddie Murphy Raw. I probably shouldn't have been watching it.
Right.
So I always look. I don't know if this is accurate, but I always look at comedians like artists.
Right.
So when it comes to like putting a set together, like is your approach more of an artistic approach, or like how does that?
See, I'm different because my style, like if you read my bio, if you see my bio, on the top of my bio, I say the Black George Carlin. And if you know what I mean, and if you know about George Carlin, for who don't, he was a white man. He's deceased now, but
talked a lot of real shit.
Yeah, but he talked about. Right, he was topical.
Yeah. He talked about a lot of good stuff.
My style is a George Carlin style. I'm topical. It's creative because I don't. If you ever look at my comedy, you don't know the angle I'm going. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, you can watch comedy sometimes and be like, I know where you're going with this joke.
Yeah.
But when I hit you, then that's usually what gets people. They're like, oh shit, I ain't see it this way. You know what I mean? And you do set it up like that, but I like to use the word cultivate. And cultivate means to educate. So that's what I try to do with my comedy.
Double meaning.
Yeah. Because I don't want people just to leave. See, when my audience leave, I want them to go. If I'm on the stage with Sid or whatever, whoever else I'm on stage with, I want them to go, oh, that one nigga in the suit, oh, that nigga was funny too. You know what I mean? So, but I got to be creative. And that's why I always tell people, I'm the worst dude. Don't ever ask me what I think about a comedian being funny or not, because I'm the worst. Because I see some comics and they're on autopilot.
Right.
And so what I mean by that is, because you watch a lot of comedy, you use the word being creative and, kind of having some type of artistic thing about it. Well, that's usually happens with people when they have a set, which means I call them being on autopilot. So what I'm talking about, brothers, is say for instance, something happened interesting that day. Either funny or tragic, like school shooting or something like that. But then you have someone, and that's tragic, but it's still tragedy is comedy. Comedy's tragedy. It's just how it is. Right. But then you see somebody go on stage, you watch comedians go on stage, and no one would say anything about what happened, even though we know that's the elephant in the room.
Right.
See, then to me, I call you on autopilot. So then when I see you, when I see a person like that, it's hard for me to say what kind of comic he is. You know what I mean? I got to have that dude that's going to be creative, that can see something. Like I can read something today and take it on stage tonight. And that also is a skill.
So you're spontaneous with your comedy.
It's not that it's spontaneous, but it's being creative, and having the talent to do it. It's not the fact that some people ain't funny life. It's the fact that some people don't know how to make that funny.
So yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I got a lot of questions. So when it comes to your approach, do you write your jokes out, or do you just kind of have a general idea?
See, I write the premise.
The premise out.
But I'm a talker.
Yeah.
See, so and my mindset is always working. So I've probably have never done the same set over in my career.
Okay.
That's dope.
Even though I'll use the same premise, I'll use it differently. Now, in the beginning of my career, you might have heard of a comedian named Alex Thomas.
Yeah.
AT.
Friend of mine.
AT, that's my guy. Him and Darryl Heath were in the mid '90s were two. And Chris Spencer were a crew, and they used to be they were hot.
Yeah, be real hot.
And they used to watch me, and they're still doing well, actually, very well. Chris was doing very, very well. So one time, I had went on stage, and I have this joke that I was doing about the police, and then I did another joke, and I did another joke. And they said to me, man, you funny. They said, the problem is, you do have to repeat your joke some so that people can know you for a joke. So I was being too creative, right? Yeah. So that's what made me actually help me. It actually helped me because now I was able to go back. I knew I would do a joke that everybody might have heard before, and then come in with another angle of it. So like I have a police joke where, my first police joke I was talking about. Have you ever had a cop follow you so long where you forget where you're going? And then because you laugh because you're like, yo, you know what I mean? Right. And then I talk about different things that happen when they follow you. And then I talk about how, but then I added to it where I go, I grew up in Philly. And I grew up hard. Depending where I'm at, I'll say like West Coast, East Coast, we got the same, street code. Don't snitch. Snitch gets what? Everybody stitches. All that shit, right? I said, but the police got a way to make you confess and tell on others. I said I was with my aunt, my uncle, my nephew. Ain't none of them ever did anything right with their life. They all been in trouble. I said the cop stopped me one night for speeding, and then I can go into a whole different thing with the police. If a cop takes your license like this with his hand opening, you ain't in no trouble. But if he go like this, you got some problems. With the cop snatching my license like this, he said, Mr. Green, you were speeding. I said, yes, sir. And these niggas got warrants too. You might want to take everybody tonight. So then you got a whole, but no one sees that angle. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta be creative and you have to be able to extend a joke and then from that joke go into another path. So to me, you have to be creative, but at the same time, you can't be scared of the elephant in the room. You gotta talk about it.
So let me ask you a question. You from Hilltop?
I'm from a place called the Hilltop. Right? Hilltop Hustlers is a real spot.
I know.
Yeah.
I know about Hilltop.
Yeah.
I did my master's in Philly.
Yeah. So it almost got me in trouble with the frat.
Yeah.
Remember when I put up the symbol? I just kind of went across, and they was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Okay," but we would leave that alone, though.
So coming from Philly and coming from a comedic background, what got you into comedy? Why was comedy your angle out of boxing?
Well, let me tell you.
We know that you're a boxer,
right.
too,
Well, see, here's the crazy thing about it. When I was in Philly, and you've been from New York, you and really being from New York, like you can be from New York, but you can be from suburbs. But when you're from the inner city, right? When you're from the inner, and anybody knows this. Anytime you're from the inner city, you got people that have a lot of talent. They're really fun guys, whatever. You have some guys that'll be silly, and then some guys that are just like funny, and then you got the hard dude. Well, what happens is you can't be too far left on one of the silly parts.
Or too far right.
Because what happens is people look at you being weak, and they be like, let's try to take advantage of the dude. Now, I started boxing at 13, 14, and
why did you start at boxing?
Well, the funny thing is, I could street fight. Like I could always kind of like street fight enough to on my block I didn't lose any. When I went off the block a little in school, I never lost one, and elementary school. But what happened was I had two partners, and they're a little shorter than me. They're my boys today, Jason and Eric. They from 61st Street. I'm from Felton Street. So we used to over slap box back in the day. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And these dudes was pop up. They been slapping all the time. I'm like, hold on, nigga.
What we used to call it is a 52 block. 52. It was like a martial art type boxing, but it would always be kind of like weaving and bobbing, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, see, ours was different. We said we go slap box. We go 10 to the head.
Yeah.
So whoever can tag you 10 times or 5 times, how many? So these dudes was quick, but I was bigger than them. They used to overskip me. I'm like, damn, you go home like, why these little niggas be over, But they my partner, so I ain't never had no problem.
Right.
So one day I'm walking down the Ave on Lansdowne Avenue. I'm walking down the Ave. They coming down 61st Street with some bags in their hand. So I'm like, yo, what's up with y'all? This is probably 7th to 8th grade. And I go, hey, where y'all going? They go, oh, we're going to the gym. I'm like, what gym y'all going to? They're like, well, we box. And I'm like, you niggas box? Y'all ain't never tell me. But but kids don't share. When you're a kid, you don't never share nothing outside of what you
get
school.
To see it after. If I put hands on
you just no matter what your family is, you just don't share it because it's like you go to school, you have fun, you come home, that's your family life.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, y'all box? I'm like, yeah. So they left. I ran home. I said to my mom, Mom, I want to box. And she's like, nope, you can't box. She said, and I was lying to her. I said, well, I be having trouble in the street. She said, no, you can't box. I said, okay. Then she came back 2 days later and said, okay, you can box. She said, but I hope you get hurt. That's what she said to me. Yeah. So I went to this gym called the Executioners, which is a gym that I'm actually doing a documentary on right now.
No, didn't
no, see,
Hitman Hearns?
No, Bernard Hopkins. Okay,
yeah,
let me go ahead and clear it up for everybody right now.
I was about to say,
no, it's going to be in the documentary, but pretty much Bernard took the name from our gym. Yes,
okay.
Yes. Bernard got the name from our gym,
all right.
Which there was some controversy about it, but at the end of the day, thank you. Thank you. She just came up. It just got some water delivered by God. It came but just to make a long story short, not to get too much into that, that was the name. It was our gym. There's a gym called the Executioners. And anybody from Philadelphia knows about it. We're located on 60th and Vine. And we actually fought Bernard twice and beat him as an amateur. So
no, you say we.
One of my boys. And so one of my partners. No, Bernard was too big. He was bigger than me and he was older than me.
What was your weight class?
I fought 125, 130 when I was a kid.
Okay. Right.
And then as a kid, but when I won the gloves, I was fighting 54. Because I didn't win them out of Philly. I started boxing in Philly for 3 years, and then my mom passed. I had to move, and then I didn't get involved in boxing no more for like 7 years.
But you still had your hands.
Yeah, because I needed it. Yeah. Well, what's funny? I always tell people this, and I mean it, man. Boxing doesn't mean that I can beat everybody in the street. It really doesn't mean. Like I always tell people, but what it does mean is 2 or 3 minutes. You're going to have some shit on your hands. You're going, because I'm going to hit you. I'm going to get one hit on you. See, the fear of boxing for people or street fighting for people is they scared to get hit. Yeah. Nigga, you fighting. You're going to get hit.
Yeah. That's
question is how you respond when you get hit.
That's when I was a martial art instructor.
Okay. Yeah, you was telling me about that one time.
So, and I studied boxing young at a place called the Econo Park on Murdoch, over where we at on Farmers, right? And so that was one of the biggest things that I learned when I started to fight. It was that, you can't worry about getting hit.
Yeah.
Get hit, but make sure you get a hit in, too.
Yeah.
So that was key. But listen, we're going to come right back with Dannon Green. We're going to go ahead and play 3 more joints because, as you all know, we only got 1 hour of Black Intelligent Minds United Radio, and we want to make sure we get enough of Danny Green because he's here to make us laugh. So we're going to go right into these new 3 cuts. I'm going to go ahead and introduce it. Right. The next 3 cuts is from a brother named Speak One. It's called The Moorish Code, featuring Shy Wisdom, Novon, and produced by Claremont. The second cut is going to be Chelsea Reject, called Tree. And then we go back with Shamar Leaf. It's called Heavens. Right back, BIMU Radio, with our special guest, Dannon Green, y'all. Peace.
friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Please, Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Please, Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Please, Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Please, Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Please, Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Please, Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my enemies. Allah take care of my friends, I'll take care of my
I'm so crazy. The only way you shut me up is to assassinate me. But ask yourself this question: what have you accomplished lately? Nothing, huh? That's why you got something to say. You always judging, huh? I can't see you past this cloud of haze. It's causing an obstruction in my face. Never followed your instructions. I take chances on my own until I'm standing on the throne. And then you asking where my manners. They don't care about what you saying till they come with them cameras. I'm super sane till they come with them hammers. It's too insane. I can't contain it. Everybody wanna be famous, but start complaining when shit don't go their way. I know I get it, cause I do the same shit. Didn't you know that we was equal? I hate when people think that they're better than other people. I don't know, it's just weird. We all got similar wants, so why bother trying to tear somebody else down? That's why I dolly splits the whole thing to myself now. Gluttony, unholy shit. Fuck with me, I'm so legit. Flashing harder than goons in a stolen whip. Yawn, you have no comprehension in a stroller shit. I'm on my live my life, try to make the most of it. Precociousness. Went to college and it sucks, so let me boast a bit. Before you even check yourself, you gon' be quoting it. And I know it's lit, or whatever they say nowadays. Generation X, and you ain't shit if you ain't generating checks. They're gonna call collect. You gon' have to ball, or end up in an institution. I wanna tell you everything, but they ain't been saluting. But they've been shooting, and they've been muting.
So I'm standing in the midst of the pyramids of Giza, and I look up to the heavens and I notice Orion's belt is in total alignment. And nonchalantly I wave my hand through my locks in amazement and notice that my coils spiral in the same directional orbit as the universe. And I think to myself, cosmological follicle, hollow it, follow the frequency up to the halo, unbottle it. I'm back like the new moon reflecting off of the sun. Absolve me up, leaving my palms to the heavens. Cause heaven knows, even the righteous ones push their hunger off the leavened loaf. And as I write this, we struggle with the need of the dough. And so we pray on one another like a need of flow. So get your hands up, cause I'm cosmic and astonishing. Bill Cosby in a cool sweater making new rules, I left the gate open in the Kadesh place. place. I'm establishing a new Jerule. Right here, right now, no fear. Distinguish the wheat from the tares. The weeping of tears irrigated the seeds of despair. But with divine touch, clarity in my eye rust. Mercury, Venus, my third eye like the Shekinah. 360 degrees, divine just. Balance my eye on the 10 commandments. You choose. The elect caught waiting up on Elisha. Well, he came and all things are anew. I said, as above, so shall it be below. I see planets and stars on the earth as it is in heaven. That I'm the sun. Look up. The heavens, the heavens, yo. I feel with signs and wonders. You're a sign and a wonder to those among you, reflected above you. The heavens, the heavens. The heavens, the heavens, yo. I feel with signs and wonders. You're a sign and a wonder to those among you, reflected above you. Absolve me up, levin my palms to the heavens.
You don't have to be racist anymore. It's called self-hate. It works on itself. It's like real estate of racism. Where just like that, when someone comes up and says something like, I am a god, everybody says, who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was. A god!
Question religion, question it all. Question the black man, manifestation of God. Meanwhile, it's heretic. We connected out and I'm a Rocco like a Meritech. Building with Jerule, standing on square with the few. Palms raised, raised from a king to a god while the pawns played. Fuck is you. I'm the master between these blue lines. Walking on water and raining at the same time. Listen, I had crazy visions. We was on life's mission. Hungrier than Jay lines down on division. I saw a consuming fire on our path of religion. I went ahead to intervene and almost lost it. I escaped by a thin thread you could floss with. From the Pope's crusades and red crosses. I brought my homies back white robes and we broke holler. Feeling godly, it was a deja loaf. Word to Mike Brown, every day is a day to boast. We know the woman who doing with the stars wear the crown. We know the dragon trying to eat the child, but got fly Ricardo teaching Givenchy clothes. And she may have had dope in the veins at the same time. The virgin that gave birth to the change, and that's word to every color in the spectrum. The elect still waiting up on Elijah, looking up for messiahs too. The heavens, the heavens, yo. I feel with signs and wonders. You're a sign and a wonder to those among you, reflected above you. The heavens.
All right, we back. We back with my man, comedian extraordinaire, special guest DANNON Green.
Yes, sir.
So we was talking about you coming from Philly and what got you in comedy.
Yeah. Okay.
So now, and compared to other comedians, who was your inspiration, if anybody? I mean, who inspired you to become a comedian, and why is you being a comedian so important for you?
Well,
two-part question.
I became a comic really by accident, to be honest with you. I went to college. When I was in college, I was president of. I went to a white college in Iowa, a small Catholic school. Okay, but.
Not you.
No, yeah, I did. But the funny thing about it was...
The Oreo effect, huh?
Exactly. But they loved me there, man. Like, I was president of all my classes, freshman, sophomore, junior, and I was voted vice president of SGA. You know what I mean? So... I've always been in that kind of mix.
Leadership position.
Yeah, you know, at least, because when you were talking.
A mega man.
Right. But the thing, yeah, that's true, you know, and I'm going to be on that one. You know what I'm saying? So, what it was, I went to college. I did my undergrad, and like I told you, I lost my mom younger, so I had to be focused on career-wise because I knew there was no one else but me to take care of myself. Went to college, did my undergrad, went to Ohio State, and the funny thing was, this is how it really happened. I'm at Ohio State. Now, when I go to Ohio State, my last year in undergrad, I started boxing again. So that's when I started boxing. And what happened was I had a chance to spar Michael Nunn. And I sparred Nunn for 3 days. And they was like, "You're pretty good." Like, you know, now he did his heavy sparring out here. Mike Nunn was the baddest pro I ever sparred. I sparred a gang of dudes, baddest dude I ever sparred.
He's a legend.
But when I sparred Nunn, and I did good, it was like, man, you did pretty good. I kept thinking like, you know, I ain't gonna fight nobody in the amateurs as good as this dude.
Yeah,
so I took it serious for like a year and a half, 2 years. I ran off 14 straight wins, and I won the Golden Gloves back to back.
Wow.
So
In Ohio.
In Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
So what happened was I was now debating whether to be a professional fighter. I had two groups looking at me, Sugar Ray Leonard's gym at the time. But what happened was Ray was getting ready to come back in for his last fight, for the Terry Norris fight, and they said they couldn't do nothing with me too after that.
Right, that
so
was the focus.
Right. So now I got that, and then I had a guy named Baldino, Italian dude out of Columbus, Ohio. He used to own this like one of those little one of those spots where they have those big parties and stuff. You know, Italians, they have the little, I forgot what they call them, but he owned this business with food and they served people and all that. So he was interested in me. Moving forward, I was like, okay, maybe I'll be a pro fighter. What happened was one day, my last year, the end of my first year, I had a partner in grad school who happened to be a Newt. Two of my partners, I'll tell you a story. One was a Q, one was a Newt. They was partners. They was roommates in grad school. So Joey, we used to all meet at this club called Point 3 in Columbus all the time on Friday afternoon after class. So they came late. And Joey came late one time. So me and Fred was in there and I was like, Fred, what? Joe, where was you at, man? He's like, oh, man. Yo, me and Tasha, his girl, was like, we went to go see a comedy show. And then I know what he said. He said, man, I'm going to tell you, Danny, man, you funnier than them, man. You should be a comedian. And I was like, man, shut your ass up. You know what I mean? Because I was literally wanting to be a corporate dude. That was my dream. I wanted to be a business. Yeah, but, at that time, I wasn't thinking comedy. I was thinking like, my
some white collar type?
Yeah, my idol was, if you can remember this, the brother on the Ebony magazine in the back with the glass of Cavassier and the beard. Remember the model dude? That's ultimately, he used to have if you look at the old Ebony magazines, the old Jets, they would have a brother that was a model. He used to have a beard, have a little wine glass, whatever liquor there was from over, and a briefcase. And I said, this is the nigga I want to be right here. I want to be a nigga grabbing a briefcase. So I blew him out. Let me shut up. So then what happened was I graduated from Ohio State, got my master's, and then
what you got your master's?
I got my master's in computer animation, believe it or not.
Computer animation?
I'm the first African American to get an undergraduate degree and the first to get accepted in Ohio State's program and to graduate with a master's in computer animation.
So you still do that now?
I don't do it now, but I
know how to.
I know concepts. And it's actually easier now because the software. But I have a degree in that. I did animation and that type of stuff. So
wow, that's great.
Yeah, thank you. So what happened was one day I called my boy Fred, and he's a brother, right? So I called Fred up. I said, "Yo, Fred," he said, because I was driving down the street and I saw on the marquee that said open mic night. And I said, everybody keeps saying, I'm job hunting now. I'm like, I'm graduating, got my degree. I'm be leaving Columbus soon anyway. Everybody keeps saying you funny. Yeah, why don't you try it? Because it's not a person here that doesn't have a joke that they think they know. So I had 4 bits of material that I did. So I called Fred up. I said, Fred, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to go try to do some stand-up comedy. So the first thing he goes, man, you better not embarrass me. And I'm like, nigga, ain't nobody going to know you with me. I'm on stage. You know what I mean? So I go on, I get picked out of the hat. And this is how crazy it is. Like, they had 16 people there that day because it was open mic, those type of competition.
Yeah.
And they took 8. Now, I got picked. But if they didn't pick me, the question would have been, would I have came back? They happened to pick me that time. First time I ever got on stage, I got second place in the competition.
Wow.
And that was it.
And that was
I got bit.
That
yeah.
was the call.
And then what happened after that, and it kind of brings me back to what we talked about earlier, I entered this competition in Columbus called Funniest Person in Ohio. And if you win it, it was a 6-week competition. And if whoever wins it gets to tour all the southern part of Ohio, little nightclubs, you know what I mean, doing stand-up.
Yeah.
You get like 6 to 8, 9 dates, something like that. I said, okay, hell. I entered it, and I won.
Wow.
6-week competition. And I won. And see, when I started comedy, which was great, I started in white clubs. So I'd never even cursed. I just started cursing. I started doing the black clubs.
Maybe that's a good thing you started.
Look, it was a great
clubs.
thing.
You know what I mean?
Because I could do comedy for anybody. I've done churches. Yeah. I've done all kinds of schools.
Have you done the Apollo?
I did the Apollo. I'll tell you about that.
How was that?
I made it through.
Did you rub the tree?
Yeah. I didn't rub the tree. I'm going to tell you what happened. When I did the Apollo, I did the Apollo Comedy Hour, which was a TV show.
Right. I remember
I want to tell you about New York. I'm going to tell you about it. Because when I told them, when you introduce, first let me tell you the story first, then I'm going to go to the Apollo. So anyway, I entered the competition, but the reason I won it, people said I won it was, these white ladies were in the back. They said, you know why we kept picking you every week? And I was like, why? Because you know how it was audience participation. Who they want to see? They said because every week you had new stories to tell. So everybody kept saying, "What the fuck is he going to talk about this week?"
Right. So the curiosity.
And I won it. But when I did the Apollo, in 94 or 95, Apollo Comedy Hour. And this is what I will tell you about New York. New York knows comedy. They know comedy because they know comedy because their whole thing is to go there. They don't want to clap. They want to boo you. So their thing is to see, So when I went out there, I was, and I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous. I had did Manhattan Propers.
Right. Oh, that's my girl Lisa's spot. In Queens. I went right up the block.
And let me tell you,
That's a hot spot. It's closed now.
Yeah, but that spot, you go in there with a bulletproof vest on because these dudes ain't playing.
Yeah, no, we was serious in Manhattan proper.
And they tore me up. Proper. And that's where I met Mike Epps in talent, and that's how we became partners. Because I was new in the game, I was a young boy, I was nervous, and they was getting me right. They was
I didn't know you played Manhattan proper.
Yeah, man. And so Mike Epps went behind me and was like, "Yo, y'all get off that dude's back," and blah blah blah. And they got the crowd, and then talent did it, and to this day we partners.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So talent
has been real good, man. What about my other man? It's another dude there, man, that was there, that used to be there. Forgot his name now. Real funny dude.
At Manhattan Propers?
Yeah, Manhattan.
I don't know, because I had a one-nighter there, so I don't know. Yeah, I did one. So I did Manhattan Propers.
All right.
And then the next night I did the Peppermint.
Yeah.
And the Peppermint I did terrible at the Peppermint. And so now I'm like, nigga, I'm 0 for 2. You know what I mean? New York is tearing me up. I'm 0 for 2.
Yeah.
And the Peppermint is where I met Bill Bellamy. And me and Bill is cool now, but when I first did it, and because Bill was the host, that was his night.
Right.
And he tore me up, and I wanted to kill him. You know what I mean? But I had to take it. 'Cause Bill Bellamy's like, this nigga came all the way from LA for that. I'm like, damn. I'm like, oh,
blew your spot up. Blew your spot up.
So when I did the Apollo, I told him, I said, look, when y'all, because this is when they was having that East Coast West Coast beef,
the beef
with Biggie and Pac and all that stuff was starting to get real, right? So I said, look, when you intro me, don't intro me from L.A. because I'm from Philly originally. Yeah. Intro me from Philly, motherfucker. All right, come to the stage from L.A. I told him not to introduce me from L.A., but he did anyway.
Take him to the green?
I should have took him to the green. I should have took him right to the middle of that ring. I swear I should have did. So I go up there. But the thing about the Apollo was, I was going there, I was doing my stuff, and I was committed to the joke.
Yeah.
And it was funny, but it wasn't hilarious. But I think they knew, I think the artist was like, the nigga got something, he got something. We want to boom, but we gonna let him get through. You know what I mean? And they didn't boo me, man. And I went hard. I did it was like 3-5 minute set. Did it, got up out there, survived the Apollo, man.
That's crazy. So who inspired you? Who was the comedian that inspired you? Was it Eddie? Was it Richard? Was it Red Fox?
I really liked obviously Eddie in terms of
Robin Harris.
Yeah. The funny thing is, a lot of people when I started doing comedy in Ohio, my boy Fred said, "Yo, you need to listen to this dude right here." So you put the tape in there, and we was talking about it was Robin Harris. I had never heard of him.
Right.
And he did a joke, talk about I sleep with my fist balled up just in case a motherfucker want to start something. And I was like, who is this dude? You know what I mean? I never got to meet him because by the time I went to LA, he had passed.
Yeah, he passed away.
But I would really say if it was anybody that really inspired me, it's going to sound crazy to you, but it was we all listened to Richard, right? Because we wasn't supposed to be listening. So that's why I think everybody listened to Richard because you said you ain't supposed to listen to Richard. Right. Don't listen to these records. Okay, there's got to be a reason we ain't supposed to listen to this. But to me, believe it or not, it was Richard and Steve Martin.
Steve Martin.
Wow. Steve Martin had a little bit he used to do called King Tut. And I just thought it was the funniest. I was a kid. I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. So I used to, kind of watch him. And then as I got into the game, George Carlin was really because he was topical and he talked about things.
And he was real about it.
And he was real. And that's how I try to be. I try to be real on stage about what I'm talking about.
So like I said, we only got like an hour. We got so much more to talk with our special guest, DANNON Green. But we're going to go ahead and introduce these other three songs and then come back with DANNON Green.
Y'all need to cancel those damn songs, man. Go ahead. You got to keep it. Keep the show.
You got to keep it flowing.
You got to keep your format.
All right, go ahead, go.
All right, so we got a song coming in by the artist named Vic, and it's called Black Fist. Raw shit is war. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And then we got a joint by Mahalia, and it's called No Pressure, and that's produced by Mass Time Joy.
Yeah.
And then we got a joint by Sage Infinite. It's called Grand Millie and
Sage Infinite, Grand Millie.
And that's produced by Chose.
Yeah.
So.
Coming right back, y'all, with DANNON Green.
One shot. I'm too weird to live and too rare to die. Kicking that low-fi sci-fi from the third eye. Call me Jameson Vic, whiskey in the flash. Fuck the future and I ain't living in the past. It's right now, y'all some parasites got the game upside down. I'm Millie Brown. 11 beers killed, number 12 in the hand. Call me Steve Austin, middle fingers up. Raw shit is war, try and keep up. Expose fraud niggas like those meddling kids. Compose raw shit, swinging at the gig, make a couple bills and dip. Girl sitting in the whip, melanin shining, it's almost blinding. Hit it and she almost crying. She don't wanna leave, but that's the way it's gotta be. She don't wanna leave, but that's the way it's gotta be. I'm Mickey, she Mallory. Tired of working retail, I need a fucking salary. For making beats and sipping drinks, drunk and walking down the streets, thinking I'm underpaid and overworked. Anxiety got me hurt, smoking clothes, I just wanna fucking murder. Yeah, I'm over this bullshit. I'm over this bullshit. Yeah. I'm over this bullshit. Won't catch me in no pulpit, praying to God. Spiritual, not religious. 3 figures in my bank account, I'm trying to up my digits. I'm trying to up my fucking digits, nigga. Hold up. Trying to up my fucking digits, nigga. One time. Nah. Put your middle fingers up and say raw shit. Put your middle fingers up and say raw shit. Yeah. Put your middle fingers up and say raw shit. Put your middle fingers up and say raw shit. Say raw shit. Say raw shit. Raw shit.
But do you feel one guy shooting it in the right direction against something as big as the state can actually achieve anything?
I think so. I think so, but I have to think so. You know, that's...
I've learned many lessons. Count on all your blessings. Make a good impression always. Baby, you're impressing always. Say no to the yes man, cause they're the ones that don't question how you're feeling week to week. They don't give a fuck about you or me, so smile for the camera, always looking right at ya. There's no time to be sad. There ain't ever space for that, no. There is not a place for that here. But no pressure, dear. Be patient, you'll have your year. Someone fills up your diary. Can you just turn up on time, please? And make something we can vibe with, no pressure. 1500 for the studio, but no pressure. No pressure, no pressure. You ain't never liked me, cause you ain't seen nobody like me. Can't go wrong with the right team, no pressure. You ain't never gonna get no better. No better, no pressure, no. They'll never give you something for nothing. I'll always give you something for loving, more than you're touching. Don't miss call my bluffing. You're everything they need, they want in. Turn up on the carpet, now they wanna start shit. Gonna make a hit regardless. Yeah. You ain't never had enough, no. You can't ever have enough. You put your name down, what you expect when you sign that signature. Don't let them build you up to shelf you now. Don't you ever lose your crown. All the real ones around you, no pressure. Someone fills up your diary. Can you just turn up on time, please? And make something we can vibe with, no pressure. 1500 for the studio, but no pressure. No pressure, no pressure. You ain't never liked me, cause you ain't seen nobody like me. Can't go wrong with the the right team, no pressure. You ain't never gonna get no better. No better, no pressure. Someone fills up your diary. Can you just turn up on time, please? And make something you can fight with no pressure. 1500 for the studio, but no pressure. No pressure, no pressure. You ain't never liked me, cause you ain't seen nobody like me. Can't go wrong with the right team, no pressure. You ain't never gonna get no better. No better, no pressure. You ain't never gonna get no better.
Chicks that say you should grow up, fail to realize the blast radius if you blow up. Get it sewed up, count the thread, baby, and go nuts. Narcolepsy is nullified, haters gon' have to duck and hide. Get sucked aside a foreign like a wormhole. Every day is war, watching out for turncoats. Coat my throat with honey, vocals is golden, holding the craft, the key visions of foes blasting me third person, the thoughts worsen as the territory's uncharted. Jumping like Nathan Drake, laying like a pilot on the lake. So call me Sully if the river close. Control the US airways, bet on stage like a riverboat. On the float, catch me waving like a pageant, contested, brandish the Western. Fuck passive, I'm planning, aggressive. Facts, no guesses, the flow is
ain't enough holy water and Bible passages to save my soul. Like disrupting the paradigm, I'm preserving the gold. Hard to give a fuck about mama sleeping out in the cold. I give any amount of money, bring her out on the road. They not conditioned, they bitches can't afford to kick it. I see it in the crystal ball and I paint the image. Shout out the winners, burn the sage while I jot the written. Handling business, stealth mode, I don't see them niggas. Caviar, the salad bar, this analog. Why get a job when my demographics still raw? Lord, deliver me from contract killings and deliveries. Born to set us free from this beast, the awakening. The homie got caught sleeping, I passed him on the app. I got halfway up the block and heard the hammers blast. Why I always put you first and always finish last? Why go to war when nowadays won't even use the mask? Never use the math, but they want the war. Some abuse the path cause they never sure. I'm at the shore watching waves dancing. Run up on you with that big blicky if you stay camping. Black and mild champion, now who wants to smoke? Nigga bring the bag if you want the quote. Every day is war on the wake up.
So we back with my man, special guest, my fraternity brother, man, comedian extraordinaire, Dannon Green. So we was talking about, man, you know, your background, you know, coming from Philly, you know, your inspirations and stuff like that. So now, in terms of comedy, why do we laugh, Dannon? What's the whole concept of laughter?
Well,
you being a comedian,
I think for me, I've had a hard life.
Yeah,
and what I mean by that, look, thank God I wasn't sexually or physically abused,
right.
But I had to go through a lot. Lost parents.
Right.
I say parents because I'm a foster kid.
Right.
So I went through a lot.
I have my parents, but I went to foster.
Right. See, I never knew.
I think we both talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about it a while ago. So I went through a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And as I even got older, I went through a lot. And what I have learned is, at the end of the day, really nobody gives a fuck. You know what I mean? Really, nobody gives a fuck what you're going. You know what I mean?
Well, some people do care.
They care in terms of maybe what you bring to the table.
That's it right there.
Yeah. So if you don't bring,
that's it.
And unfortunately, but fortunately, if you're not a person that's bringing something to the table for someone, whether it's
a check,
connection, or a connection, or you teaching kids how to, something that people feel there's a value to you, then you just did. So, what helped me was I'm a big history buff. And like when I took the military, actually, you know how you can take a military exam without even going in,
right?
You know about it, right? And it'll tell you what they think you're going to be good at,
right?
Correct?
Right. That's correct.
So I took,
depending on the score, they'll give you the job and all that, right?
Exactly. So I took it in the 11th grade,
all right,
and they said you would be a historian because my memory. I don't forget nothing. You know what I mean?
To be the
buzz.
Yeah. We don't forget nothing.
No, we don't forget nothing. No, and I sure enough don't forget nothing. And so because of that, because of me, of my background and coming up, I just felt like, the way for me to move ahead and not worry about what my circumstances is go, hey, it happened, it's a done deal, keep it pushing. Once you realize that, and when I say people don't care, they care. They care if you care. See, if you want to do something with your life, then people will be there to help you. But when you feel like you ain't worth it.
It's over?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody come knocking at the door.
Let me tell you, I used to watch the news a lot when I was a kid. And I used to always, and I tell people this all the time, watch the news. And it'll be some dude on there in front of the judge with the lawyer. Back then, you know how they do it, and they'll give a little subtext or whatever, and then they'll go, the lawyer will go, Your Honor, my client comes from a broken home. He didn't have no family, blah, blah, blah. Right before the sentencing, you know what I mean? He had a lot of problems. Yeah, and the judge is like, I understand. Now the nigga still got to do these 25. I need 25 out of him, you know what I mean? But I apologize and feel bad for his circumstances. And that's what made me really understand, like, look, at the end of the day, if you blow it, no matter what your circumstances is, you still got to serve that time. You got to pay the man, no matter what it is. And that's what helped me get through a lot of my pain and things I went through, and said, you know what? It's okay to have a personality. And I think boxing saved me on that, because, like I said, I don't feel like I can beat everybody. And I'm 51 now. I'm not going to be out here.
I'm the same age.
Yeah, right.
But we'll give them a run for their money.
I'm going to give you, you're going to have to think about it. You're going to be like, let me find another nigga to fuck with. You know what I mean? Especially if you go give me one on up. You know what I'm saying? Right. But otherwise, because of that, it allowed me to be myself. I don't have a fear when I go out. But I also don't walk out with a chip on my shoulder. I was a dude that I could be cool with the Crip, the Blood, the homeless dude, the crackhead. And I could be cool, and I used to do this in school, with the squarest white boy or kid that nobody would fuck with. I'll find a way to get him in the fold, to make him feel that he's just important.
So you're a people's person.
I'm a people's person. As long as you don't juice me.
You don't even know it.
Yeah,
but that's all right, though. We're going to work on that.
Okay, the 5%. Okay. Well, that 5% means a lot, If you're on the Muslim term, you got to be careful with that now. I wasn't robbing banks. I'm just saying. I grew up in that time. You 5%. Okay.
Let's not give us a bad rap. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
All right, listen, as we close the show, where can we find you? I know you're doing some shows now. Well, out there doing movies now. Where can we find Dannon Green?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I don't tweet because I really don't understand tweeting as much, and tweeting is dangerous. You don't
want to be like Donald Trump.
Yeah,
right?
I ain't trying to tweet everything, But Dannon Green 66. That's DANNON Green GREN no E 66. That's my Instagram, and then Dannon Green is my Facebook, and that's what I do mostly right now. Yeah.
All right. So I have one more question. Unless the guy, you got another question?
I do.
Go ahead.
Quick one. I was curious to know, like, obviously boxing, you're in the ring by yourself.
Right.
No excuses. It's really on you, right?
Right.
How did that help you? How does that help you as a comedian?
Well, it's a great point, because you got to remember, in boxing, what happens is this: you train. Your trainer works with you, gives you what he gives you the game plan, whatever it is. It is just you and that other man.
Right.
Well, comedy's the same way. When you get, like I tell people, if I got to follow Chris Rock, Chris Tucker, Earthquake, all the heavy boys, you got to remember, when I got that mic, that's my mic. That's my stage.
So that's the phone check.
So
right?
I got to
go
ahead.
Check.
Yeah. And I got to get that audience to go, ooh, Chris Tucker was funny. Earthquake was funny. Who is this dude?
Right.
I don't go up. I never go on stage with fear. You're going to have good shows. You're going to have bad shows. Luckily for me, lately I've had a lot of great shows, because when I go on the stage, and I tell any young comic that today, that's your stage. That's your time. Own it.
So it ain't like a Mike Tyson stare. Tyson look at you one time, you bring your eyes down, it's over.
No, because you know why? You know why? Because the audience knows.
Yeah.
The audience knows.
Know if you confident.
So when you talking to them, you start talking in circles, they be like, this nigga need to leave. You know what I'm saying? So that's what helps me. Right. Now, it's times when I go on stage, I've had bad shows, or started off, and guess what I do? I let the audience know, I'm really not doing too good tonight. Yeah. And they'll laugh, and then I can go right back into my thing.
Right.
So
give you a little break.
Right,
give them. But so by doing that, it kind of gives them. This guy's a regular guy. I mean, but he's funny.
Yeah.
Because you keep it real.
Right. You got to keep it real. And the audience, your audience. I learned this from Michael Williams. Michael Williams, real quick, was the owner of the first black comedy club in the country, the Comedy Act Theater, which is right down the street, around the corner. And I never forget it. I was doing a joke and I was talking. This is like 1990. I came out in 92, so 92. Now, you know, I was in, like I said, remember, I'm coming from this educational background, Ohio State. I'm thinking, you know, I'm the shit. And so I'm talking about computers.
Right.
And computers were big then. And I'm doing a joke, and then the audience doesn't laugh. And I go, oh, y'all probably don't know about computers. And then I just kept on doing my stuff.
Right.
At the end of the show, Michael Williams pulled me aside. He said, oh, man, you're not bad tonight. He said, but let me tell you something. He said, don't ever underestimate your audience. Just because they don't laugh don't mean they don't know about it. And that's when that was one of the biggest lessons I ever learned in the comedy game.
Wow. Well, you know what? We had our, season finale, you know what I mean, as we go into our little hiatus. And as you know, we only got 1 hour. We want to thank our special guest, DANNON Green, for being here today and Why We Laugh, which is an important show because with so much craziness going on in the world, we need to have humor. This show is dedicated to all the ones that we lost, be it your friends, your family, my family. But this one show is dedicated to my big brother, my grandfather, who I say is Allah Real. Allah Real was a serious brother. Man, I can't even tell you, my heart goes out right now for him and his family in terms of our universal family within the 5% nation of gods and earths. And I'm saying, peace to him, and peace to everybody, man, who's been under his tree. I'm a part of his tree, and Jerule is a part of his tree, and we're gonna keep that fruit and that root alive. We want to thank DANNON Green.
Man, I appreciate it.
We want to thank Morris Media Live. We want to thank all those who continue to watch us, and we'll be back as we come back with new and innovative shows for you here at Black Intelligent Minds United Radio. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. It's Chuck Strangers. And I got dreams of spending years off the music shit. Know it sound like loser shit, but all the deep talk, niggas is used to it. I've been in Los Angeles, paying off the damages. $300 say you ain't live yet. Plus I'm taking side bets, cause the Uber driver ain't arrived yet. Watch me take it back to Prospect, chiefin' by the lake house for Delpho. Super fresh, skinny niggas vexed. My box logo is a double XI. Am the wagon that carries the band. Flew my last 3,000 with the name of Sandra Bland. On my project cover, I'm staring like Sandra Bland. Got my MP and my blunt in my hand. Just tuned into the temple that God gave me the guard lately. Been going hard, baby, grinding, but it's all gravy. Let's try to chop the vinyl to a Mercedes and 2 ladies, one from Puerto Rico, one from Haiti. Both fine, both dimes. Need nighttime with sunshine. All up to Brooklyn, shouts the whole team. Ever represent, we stay up fly. All up to Brooklyn, shouts the whole team. Ever represent, all up to Brooklyn, shouts the whole team.
It's curved. Yeah, I'm so down to earth, I feel like I'm in grave danger. These boys in the bush, I wanna see that Mad Ranger. In Europe, starting a new chapter, just hit the pager. Parkside boy on camera with the nice taper. I make you sick, dressed up in this fly shit. 5,000 for the fit, like come Forrest, go dumb with it. Leave them at ours, I'm dumb wicked. And Barney's, I'm cotton picking. In the field, how I make my dirty denim. Jedi mind with the force in them. I feel the breeze when I saw a hawk vision. I see the hate from a mile away. Mad you ain't make the cut.